Welcome to Litbit channel. Today we will see Women Writing the Nation by Susie, Tharu and K. Lalita. Let's see the short answer. What does the new imaginative geography mean in this essay? New imaginative geography means the perceived geography of the nation that deals with the space created through certain imaginary texts and discourses. It is a social construct. It is where the ground was laid for new authorities to be fashioned and consolidated, and new reputators of Indianness were composed and circulated. Briefly write why a feminist literary history is essential. Feminist literary history is essential to develop an aesthetic and create a context wherein women's writing can be read as a context wherein women's writing can be read not as new monument to existing institutions and cultures but as documents that display the qualities of female self-formation. How should we not read the literary initiatives of women if we follow the author's suggestion? We should not read the literary initiatives of women as merely achieving aesthetic effects, but as addressing real tasks in a real world. They should be read as a historical texture that situates and governs feminist initiatives of our times. Apart from reading them to comprehend and enjoy the resolutions they propose, they must be read against the grain to investigate those compositions. Why it is essential to understand feminist literary history in order to make meaning out of women's writing. It is essential to understand feminist literary history in order to making meaning out of women's writing because it situates and governs feminist initiatives of the times. It will throw lights on how the text engaged in negotiations, debate, and protest in the area that are closely related to what it means to be a woman in each historical movement. Which three themes did the author pay special attention to when they were considering the 20th century women writing the nation? The Sudesi standard of nationalist movement and the questions of caste and communism, the progressive writer associations and the issue of gender and the class raised in those contexts, and at liberal electoralism as it shaped the women's movement of the 20s and 30s. What is the intentions of the authors in mapping history of women's literature? In mapping a history of women's literature, the author intended to create a context that will bring women's writing the themes that emerge, the formal language that are focused into the mainstream of cultural politics of each period, and to provide the readers with a sense of the difficulty but challenging trains that the women's movement of the 70s inherited. Let's we see the framework. How was the new imaginative geography established? New imaginative geography was established by means of new authorities being fashioned and consolidated, and new reputators of Indianness being composed and circulated. It was the ground laid for a extension, reworking, negotiating, elaborating, and consisting right through second half of the 20th century. It is the perceptions of space created through certain imaginary text and or discourses. It is a social construct. What does one map in a feminist literary history? One maps in feminist literary history the play of focus in the imaginative worlds in which women wrote, and read the literary initiatives not as an endless repetitions of present day rebellions or dreams of triumph, but as different attempts to engage with the focus and the conflict of the multiple cross-cutting determinations of those worlds. Which three long running themes do we do examine to understand the dynamics of gender and the nations in process? The Sudesi strategy of a nationalist movement and the questions of caste and communalism, the Progressive Writers Association and the issues of gender and class raises in those contexts at liberal electoralism as it shaped the women's movement of the 20s and 30s.
இந்த வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்தா மறக்காமல் லைக் பண்ணுங்கள், ஷேர் பண்ணுங்கள், கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்கள், சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணி கூட இருக்க பெல் ஐக்கானையும் ப்ரெஸ் பண்ணுங்கள். தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் வாட்சிங்.